Well, when they took off on an 8-day trip to the International Space Station, Joe Biden was still US president. But two astronauts have now been stuck in space long enough to have watched Donald Trump be elected, inaugurated, and move into the White House. He's been backing the effort to bring them back home while he makes other changes at the US space agency, NASA. Well, Sara Webb is an astrophysicist at the Swinburne University of Technology, and she joins me now from Melbourne. Sara, good to have you with us again today. Let's first go to that mission to get the two stranded astronauts home. What happened with that SpaceX mission that was supposed to get them back?
So today we were meant to see the new crew head up to the space station, which would see the capsule return those astronauts back home. Unfortunately, that mission did get scrubbed, which is something that we do see happen quite frequently with rocket launches. There was an abnormality on the launch pad itself, but we do expect them to launch in the next 24 hours or so. So it is still looking likely that those astronauts will be returned home within the next week or so.
Yes, let's hope so. But Sunny Williamson and Butch Wilmore, they've been up there for 9 whole months. That's a very long time. So does this long span of time in space cause, major changes to the human body?
It does. It does. We've been really fortunate to have had many humans go to space now, and humans stay in space much longer than Butch and Sunny have been in space currently. And we know that space is really interesting on the human body. So when Butch and Sunny come back to Earth, what they're going to experience is a few different things. Their muscles will have atrophied, so they will have trouble walking for the first couple of days, and that's completely normal. Everybody who comes back from space experiences that, and that it will take them several weeks to months to build back up some of that muscle mass. Their bone density will be affected. And all of this is studied by NASA to better understand how human bodies react to space. But it's something that's very well understood and something that's really interesting because we ourselves are not made for space. So it's fascinating whenever we get to understand how that affects us.
And that changes to the human body, that's a product of NASA research. And we now know that the Trump administration has fired NASA's chief scientist and its technology officer. And what are your thoughts on the firings? I mean, how might it impact space research?
I think this is a really challenging time. It's a really interesting decision. The office of the chief scientist that was just let go in the past day or so. About 22 people have lost their positions, and one of the officers had no budget power. So it was an office that had no direct power over the financials of NASA itself. It was an overseeing office, one that was really important, headed by an incredible female scientist who is a climatologist who has helped write many of the UN climate policies. And it's something that is really sad in the scientific community to see this advisory position go. And I think it's going to have long-lasting effects. And it's something that we're watching very closely. I think the rest of the world is understanding how will this reshape the rest of NASA and what more is there to come.
And as you mentioned there, NASA has played a role in researching climate change. So was this expected given President Trump has labeled climate change as a scam?
I think it's really hard to tell. I think it's really important to assure viewers that climate change is certainly not a scam. It's something that we understand very, very well, and it's something that we can make a difference to do. And scientists are people who have studied their entire lives to make changes, to understand the fundamentals of not only the universe, but the world that we live in. And there's a lot that we can understand from this world and a lot that we should understand. And I want to really emphasize that science in itself, whether you're an astrophysicist like myself or a climate scientist, a lot of the science that we do trickles down into what we do in everyday life as well. It's a lot of blue sky research for research's sake. And even though it might not sound like it's helping you in your everyday life right now, a lot of that eventually does. And it's really important. And I think this is why communicating the importance of science across all fields is really, really vital.
But there has been some good news on the NASA front. It has launched its newest telescope, Sphere X. So what is this telescope meant to discover?
This is a fascinating project. This is some good news to come out of this week. So this is an infrared spectroscopy telescope. What it is aimed to do is study over 450 million galaxies. So being able to understand 450 million galaxies and 100 million stars in our Milky Way, which is an enormous number of sources in our sky. It's going to unlock the universe like never before and give us a lot of data over the next 2 years.
Okay, Sara Webb, we'll leave it there, but thank you so much for giving us your insights into what's happening in NASA and in the industry. Thank you.
Thank you.